sweet Ninny Bong, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things Transformers and Transformers action figure related. And today we're going to take a look at something very different and something that I truly believe should be in every Transformers collector's arsenal. Now, as a Transformers collector, one of the banes of my life, especially collecting KOs, some third parties, and even Hasbro, I guess, as well, is loose joints. Loose joints is an absolute nightmare, and one of the biggest culprits we have is this MBK Devastator. If you've seen my review on this guy, you can find it here on the channel, you'll know that I absolutely love the way that this looks. I think beautiful, beautiful figure, but these joints here and the joint here really let the side down, so he's flopping about all over the place and can be a bit of a challenge to manage. Also, some of our older figures like G1 Sludge here, you know, this is this is not good. This happens over time. I've already taken the backpack off, don't worry, I do have the backpack. It's right here. And also this guy, you know, this was a KO, but you can see the leg is wobbly. Funnily how it's both the sludges. It's a problem with sludge as we go through, but all these things have problems, have challenges. And what I've discovered and what I found, in this is something I've bought, this is not sponsored at all, this is recommended because I've actually used it now, and so I am recommending this stuff. This is Kiki. This is how you fix your loose joints on action figures, and we will go through it now and take a deeper dive into it, and I'll tell you all about how I've used it and how I think that everybody should use this. So just what is Kiki? So Kiki, as it says there, K-I-K-I. Kiki comes in this little bottle here, like this, which is great. It dries clear, which is fantastic, and all you do is you kind of take this off, make sure that the nozzle is completely clear. So it comes with this little pin for you to go down and not stab yourself, because that's never fun. So you just make sure that the nozzle's clear, stick the pin back down there, and then what you do is you kind of squirt this into joints, and then 1 hour later the joints will be in a better condition than they were. It's as simple as that. So to show you what I've already managed to do, so this was my sludge. The leg was like this, and this leg was, well, this leg was even worse than this. But you can see now that on the other side, it can really hold a pose. So this arm already, you can see this is not great. This, after one application, it's still a little bit loose, but I can always add more. You can always add more of this, but it's certainly better than this, and it will hold poses to where I want it to be. Similar with this bad boy as well, this other version of sludge. You can see this leg, and now this leg no longer moves around as much, and it will actually hold a pose. So I'm going to show you now how easy it is to use. But what I'm going to do as well is I'll put a little bit onto this plastic here, so that 1 hour later we'll be able to see kind of what it dries as. So when it comes out, you can see it's this white liquid. It's kind of like a liquid rubber, I guess, but this will dry completely clear, so I'll just put that to one side here for now. So all I will do, show you how easy it is. We can see that we have an issue with the leg here, so all I will do here is just here I will just squirt this into here, move the leg joints around, and go around to the back. Try and get a little separation. If you can loosen any screws or anything like that, it can also help, but I'm just going to show you here how easy this can be. Okay, so you can see there, I've completely coated this now. I'm going to leave him here to dry. And the same with this guy, so we can see that this guy here has a similar issue. So all I'm going to do is just squirt this in there, and then the same around the other side there. Work the joint a little, and then I'm going to leave him to one side. If you watch some of my videos, you will see that I love this version of Athena, but this one, this peg here, always comes out. So what I'm going to try and do here, you can see this one fits in nicely, but this one always pops out. So again, what I'm going to do here is just put this little dab of this into there, and then close the joint up like that. Now this should form a seal around it, but not glue it. So it should add a little bit more onto it. So I'll leave that again. We leave that for an hour. And now, finally, for the NBK Devastator. So we know that the hips on this dude are, certainly when it's in combined mode, is where the problem is. So we know that this feels quite stiff now, but once you add all the weight on it, just, yeah, it goes to shit. And you can see here, this is also a big problem here. So I'm going to put some in here to try and make sure that this joint is a lot sturdier, and then I'll put some into these joints as well to try and make this sturdier. So hopefully this should make a big difference to this. I'm going to try it like this first, and then of course there will be the option to take it apart more if I want to get a bit deeper, but we'll see what kind of difference this can just make if I just squeeze in from here. So you can see that I'm just applying this to the sides here as much as possible, and then I'll lift it up and go in from a different angle. So what I'll do is I'll let that all kind of just soak in. There. Now this dries clear, which is fantastic. So you don't have to worry about, oh, I've got bits on here and then I've got to wipe and I've got to wipe. You don't need to do that. This will dry clear, which is great, especially when you're putting it on black figures. And this is white. So now I'm going to just do the hips, just do around there. There's a little bit here I can actually get the needle inside, which is good. And then come on the front. If I unpeg this from the front, I can get into these sections here. If I just work the joint a little, hopefully that'll get in there. Add a little bit more on. You don't need much of it on each one, which is really good. So now that I have done that for everything, so that's everything now. I'll leave these to all dry for about an hour. Fix me. So I have now left the figures themselves to dry probably for about 2 to 3 hours after using just one dose of this. You saw what I used. We'll bring them all back now and see what impact it's had. So first of all, we know this dude had a real wobbly joint on this side, and we can see now that this is no longer wobbly. It's no longer shaking around, which is absolutely fantastic. So we can see now that when I move it, it still moves. It's dried fairly well. I hope you can see that here. It's a black figure there. There's no residue on the side here, and I can now pose the leg however I want, which the figure couldn't do
before. The figure is still going to have challenges standing up because he is just a bit of a nightmare. Oh no, he stands up. That is probably the best I've ever got this figure to stand up. Usually when I have to display him, I have to lean him up against a wall like so. So first of all, yeah, tick for this dude. He's done very, very, very well. Second of all, we'll bring out the G1 Sludge, and we know this dude had a wobbly leg. No longer wobbly whatsoever. It hasn't dried. I don't know if you can see it in the shiny here. It hasn't dried as clear here. It is clear. I guess I can scratch this off, but I can still see it. So can I still bend the joint? Yes, the joint will bend. I mean, look at that now. That was completely wobbly, that joint. Now I can position the leg however I want. Off camera, because I forgot to do it on camera, I did also do the arm, and you can see here now I can position the arm however it is I want it, with no flex there whatsoever. Again, if the camera can pick this up, there is some residual stuff here, which I guess I can just, it flakes off, it scratches off, so it doesn't stain my figures, but you can see it a little bit there, so it's not completely clear. But again, fantastic job. You know, if I want this to work and actually hold positions, this will now hold positions, whereas previously it wouldn't. Next up we have Athena, my fans hobby Athena, a figure I love but has multiple challenges, and this being one of them. So on this side I didn't put any, and on this side I have put it. So you can see now I can move the leg around and it doesn't pop out at all, and I can still remove where I need to, pop it back in as I need to, and that just fits so much more snugly and doesn't pop out. I mean, the other one on this side has always been okay for me, so hopefully it won't pop out, but this one was terrible and continued to pop out. If you want to look inside to see is there any residue, there's not really any residue. So you can see I can still lift up these parts here, and you can see inside it's created like a plastic resin around the tab itself, just making it that little bit thicker like it needed to be. Everything just clips together a lot better than it did before, and this joint no longer pops out. So again, another big tick there. It has fixed one of my biggest issues with this figure, which is the back of those legs popping off all the time. So before we move on to the biggest challenge that it had, I did put some on this plastic here to see how it dried and what it looks like. So the middle I must have put on a little bit too thick, and to be fair, it hasn't dried yet. It's quite cold up in the attic. I did bring the rest of the figures downstairs to be able to make sure that they dried properly. This I just left in the attic, but you can see here on the sides that it does dry clear. This may dry clearer as we go through, but it does go from this, which is still, you can see, still quite wet. But it does actually dry very clear, and you can see there on the picture what it's like when it's dried fully. This just needs more time to dry. It does say on the label that different plastics take different times to dry, but also the temperature definitely does play a part in that. But I'm just showing you what I can see from the experiments that I've done, and this dries pretty clear, as you can see there. Finally, its biggest challenge that it had. So with this one, obviously, if you've gone back and seen how loose this was on the video that I did, I will have linked it in the description here if you've not had the opportunity to go back, but you can go back and have a look. Then you'll know that these joints here are now this feels a lot more stiffer to me. If I just move this now, that feels absolutely beautiful. This again, oh yeah, that feels like a firm joint. This here no longer tips back, so anybody who's got this figure knows that if you tip this back, all of the weight here sends it careering back on itself, and it hasn't done that. So I'm going to attach the legs and the body and see if this has actually impacted its posability. So first up, this is absolute night and day. I've only just put him together and I can already feel the difference in the stability. Like, I can move this dude around like so, and you can actually see that he is leaning forward a little bit there. Usually this would have meant that he would have just collapsed on his own weight. If I try and make him a little bit more standing up straight here, I can see more posability from him. He is standing up very, very straight here, and this is the straightest I've probably ever been able to have him. I can move him around and he doesn't fall over, and that's pretty incredible on its own. Again, anybody who has this figure knows that his hips just want to give way every opportunity that it has. Now, do we think that this dude can now hold his leg out a bit to the front, which is what the joint that I worked on obviously is the backwards and the forwards joint. Yeah, he can hold his back leg forward and he can hold his back leg out. Now, anybody who has this figure, like I said, knows that this is an extremely large weight that he carries on his legs, and that joint can hold it going backwards. And let's just see if I can get it past his little cod piece. Can he hold it going forward? Okay, I need to work on the knees. But, okay, if I let it fall down, he can hold that pose with his leg going forwards. This is really good. So the next thing I know I need to work on this figure is the knee joints. Let's have a look at the other legs, see how that's worked. Again, he can do an ice skating dance type affair there. Out to the side as well. Yeah, oh, look at that. Get Grimlock out here now. He can do his kick like in the movie, which there is absolutely just no way that would have been possible before. So where can you get this miracle product? I picked this up on eBay. Cost me about £15 for 2 bottles, which is gonna be around $23, $24, something like that, for 2 bottles of this. You don't need much to make your figures really strong and sturdy. Again, this is not, like I said, this is not a promotional video. They have not sent me this for free. I have got this and I am letting other people now know that I think this is a fantastic product. I had some challenges trying to buy it on eBay at first. For some reason they didn't accept PayPal, and I don't pay by card, but for some reason I went back the next month and it worked. So maybe they fixed something on their side that then allowed you to pay for PayPal. Took about 2 weeks to come, and I guess, would I recommend this? Hell yeah. Do you want your it fixes a multitude of problems that we have with older figures, newer figures, KO figures, figures that are brand new and don't tab in correctly, as you've seen with my Athena? Hell yeah. I'd fully recommend this product to anybody. So let me know your thoughts in the comments about this. Have you got this already? Have you used it on your figures? Is this something that you want? For me, this is a must-have item that I will now always have in stock. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you like what I'm doing around here, please think about giving me a like, a share, and a subscribe. And I'll see you in my next video. Alright guys, in a bit. Peace!